here we go. We are diving into our lower bracket finals. The loser of this series gets knocked out of the tournament. The winner moves on to face Sham. Okay, here we go. As I just quickly message someone, and we are diving in to our first PvP of the tournament. There we go. First and last, and spawning in the bottom right. Oh, let's go! Oh my god. Okay, I'm so glad I got some water for this. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Curious Minds LE, we have the Canadian Protoss player representing Alpha X, going for the proxy in the middle of the map because it's a goddamn PvP, and oh my god. It's such a volatile and lovely matchup. It is TriGGeR. Ah, he saw it. Oh my god. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Curious Minds, we have the American Protoss representing License to Kill. It is Rhizer. Currently getting proxied and scouting the proxy. So it's one of those things where Rhizer, the problem is that he didn't check behind this like fog of war, but when the worker went up to the high ground, he saw because of the probe scout. So with this probe scout, he's well aware of what's happening. Meanwhile, he's trying desperately to respond. He does have a zealot on the way, but TriGGeR has thrown down the pylon. Oh my god. As we do see a forged response from Rhizer. He's trying to set up his defenses as best he can. He does have some decent SimCity here. With the Zealot coming out, he will be able to deal with this pylon. Meanwhile, TriGGeR, with the 3 gateways, is making nothing but Zealots to bust his way through. What do we have to defend? We have 1 cannon on the way. We don't have any shield batteries. Oh, the Zealots are going to show up. The cannon still needs a little bit before it finishes. TriGGeR's actually trying to focus down the forge, but it's too late, mate. We already got a cannon. And I feel like with that cannon, I think Rhizer's good. Oh boy, we shall see. Yeah, the cannon does finish up in time. It was so important for Rhizer to scout this and to be able to respond in time the way he did. And TriGGeR has to go back. He's going for a follow-up cybernetics core. And it's a proxy cyber core as well. What does that mean? From here, I guess he can try and go into Stalkers or go for a proxy Robo or Stargate. Oh god, the transition here is so awkward. Let's see. He does get the cyber core. Okay, he's starting Stalker production. He just doesn't have a lot of gas, and he gets gas stolen. Oh my god, Rhizer has such a big brain. Going for the gas steal means that TriGGeR cannot afford to pump out 3 Stalkers at a time. It's just not possible. Look at that, he's got 16 gas. Oh my god, this is so smart. TriGGeR trying to pop things off with a cheeky build and being shut down very hard here. From here, we have a Stargate follow-up. Oh my god. From here, Rhizer, if he wants to, he can make a Void Ray just to defend, or he can be risky and go for an Oracle just to zoom across the map and to end the game. Meanwhile, TriGGeR needs that gas as soon as possible, leaving a couple of workers idle. There we go. Gas is finally being taken. At the same time, Adepts do get across the map. We need a full wall. We need a wall. We need a wall. TriGGeR, please. Adepts, get here. Oh, we do have a full wall, so it's going to take a while for the Adepts to get through this. Meanwhile, TriGGeR has to go all the way back home. Ay, ay, ay. Well then, welcome to North American PvP, where there are nothing but clown fiestas. Oh god, yep, the Oracle is on the way, and this is the problem. TriGGeR does have 2 Stalkers, to be fair, and he's gonna get Warp Gate. But this Oracle that's coming across the map, like, there's nothing to stop it. Like, it should be able to get into the mineral line and kill, like, at least 7 workers. Maybe, like, I guess if these Stalkers are in the mineral line, then TriGGeR can defend, but there was just so much damage potential. He's waiting. He's waiting for 2. He's gonna get 2 oracles to one-shot the workers. Oh my god. And he has the room to do so because he's well defended at the natural. He's getting a Nexus up and running. Like, TriGGeR's in such a rough place right now. I mean, at least Warp Gate is finishing, and he's working on Blink. Like, he's gonna make nothing but Blink Stalkers. He's gonna stay on the aggression, but we'll see if he can pull it off. Rhizer also has a proxy pylon. There we go. Oracles, they're going across the map. We have a shield battery. 1 shield battery is not going to be good enough. TriGGeR, maybe he can force his way up this ramp. It's possible. There are only 2 cannons. There's a shield battery. Overcharge is available once there is enough energy, but... Yep, this is, well then. Oh, a little bit of miss micro. He actually clicked on the Nexus for a moment there, so 1 less probe will die. Decent micro, but there it is. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. As 14 probes go down, TriGGeR with less than half the workers of his opponent. Again, nothing going his way here. He is all in. He has to straight up somehow end the game. And maybe he can. Because you know what he's doing? He has a sentry for high ground vision. He's going to have blink. He is going to try and blink straight into the main base. And avoid all this nonsense. The cannons, the shield battery, the overcharge, all of it. So, a nice move. The problem is that Rhizer has sussed this out. Oh, is it going to be enough? Oh god, the Immortal comes out. Do you have a shield battery? No, we do not. We have a blink on 4. The Immortal's going to go down. Nice target fire there by TriGGeR. The boys are being pulled, but they're being pulled a little bit too late. TriGGeR, he is all in and he's doing it. He's killing everything. The boys, they're trying to do whatever they can. We see the blink into the low ground. Worker after worker are falling. Meanwhile, TriGGeR has nothing at home. He has literally 1 worker, 1 probe. And the second Immortal comes out, and we have 2 shield batteries. With the completion of these shield batteries, it's over. This Immortal will not die. It should not die. And TriGGeR, he had a nice follow-up here. Like, he had a plan. He knows he's all in, but alas, 'tis not meant to be. Not this game. GG gets called, and Rhizer takes it. Oh. Meanwhile, Funada logic in the chat. This is what triggers me, Kappa. People stay in the game when the game is over. I mean, you're about to see the follow-up all in, so... Again, TriGGeR, he had potential there. We saw if those shield batteries weren't made for Rhizer, if he was overconfident, TriGGeR could have won. It's a slim chance, obviously, but you know what? Like, he was able to kill the Immortal, he was killing all the other gateway units. Like, there was a chance. Wasn't a big chance, but a chance nonetheless. So, of course, I respect TriGGeR for at least attempting to find another way to get a win there in game 1. It wasn't like he was relying on hopes and dreams. He had a plan. He had a plan. As we are looking to get into game numero dos, number 2 here. And already a very interesting start to this series. After TriGGeR winning 2-0 in the upper bracket, I did not expect Rhizer to fight back like this. So is it going to be a reverse 2-0? I'm kind of excited if that's the case. Like, I kind of want to see Rhizer versus Chan. We already saw TriGGeR. I want to see what Rhizer has to offer in that PvZ matchup. But mate, I'm getting too ahead of myself because we are still here in game number 2. We still have our PvP ahead of us, and I am ready for some proxies. Is it going to happen? Probably not. Especially after a failed proxy, but a man can dream. A man can dream. As we are diving into game... Okay, just turning off the aircon. As we are diving into game number 2 and spawning in the top right hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Canadian Protoss player. He is red, representing Alpha X. It is TriGGeR. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have the American Protoss player himself. He is purple, representing Team License to Kill. LTK, it is Rhizer. EPM 69, NASC in a nutshell. True. Well, if you're tuning in now, I highly recommend. Earlier today, we were casting the NA Apprentice qualifiers, and we casted 2 Protoss GMs, 2 American GMs, Probe Scouts, and Awesome Source in a PvP. It was a solid clown fiesta of a PvP, mate. I highly recommend you guys tune into that. Oh god. So yeah, the VODs are available on Twitch. The VODs will be available on YouTube, but at a much later date. If you look at our YouTube channel now, we're still working through our DreamHack VODs. So yeah, it's gonna take a while for us to catch up with current content, but our Twitch channel always has our VODs available. I know watching VODs on Twitch isn't the most ideal experience. I completely understand, but if you're interested, again, in a very, very fun PvP, then consider checking it out. Consider it. As we are getting into this one, and this one is looking a little bit more standard. Of course, we do have the low ground wall, so TriGGeR is being a little bit more greedy here, going for a much more faster Nexus. Meanwhile, Rhizer has a probe towards the top left, so I'm curious to see if he intends to take a Nexus. He's already got 2 gateways. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a proxy. There we go. Let's go. We do have a proxy pylon. And we'll see where this takes us. I'm kind of feeling just proxy gateway and proxy like 3-gate. I mean, 3-gate aggression, I should say. But we'll see what Rhizer has in store for us as he does keep this probe here towards the top left. We could also see a proxy Twilight Council with a Dark Shrine. Yeah, we shall see. As the first couple of Stalkers are going to be moving out. Ooh, do catch the shade. Can he block? Oh, actually, doesn't commit to the shade. Okay. TriGGeR being a little bit more conservative with his Adept as he is trying to shade in, but there is a full wall. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, another probe here being a little bit suspect, but it will be dealt with here by TriGGeR, and Rhizer's going for a ninja? Oh my god. Son, you missed me casting? I mean, we've been live for 6 hours, so yes, Kura was casting earlier today. She was. Meanwhile, Funada Dastan! Funada. Oh god. But here we go. Ninja Nexus. Crazy. Crazy. You almost never see this in a PvP. It's nonsense, mate. We did have a ninja earlier today. Fun fact, but yeah, wow. So we do see Rhizer being aggressive here, quite aggressive, and TriGGeR scouts, by the way, as in he confirms that there is no Nexus, there is no natural base. So TriGGeR most likely thinks that his opponent is much more all-in than he really is, throws down 2 more shield batteries, 3 in total. He's pumping out Void Rays. Void Rays in PvP honestly aren't very good, but they are great defensively when we have waves of Stalkers coming in, which is exactly what TriGGeR thinks is happening. So he's forced to be a little bit more inefficient with his army composition, just because he believes that Rhizer is making nothing but army, when really, he's making a Nexus. I'll definitely check that out. Probe Scout never failed to deliver. True. Very true. Oh, God. Meanwhile, we do see Prismatic Alignment was forced, was baited out. Blink is on the way for Rhizer. We do see TriGGeR going for a follow-up Scout, once again confirming the lack of natural base. And we'll see where... I'm honestly not entirely sure where things will go from here. Shade was able to get into the main base. Again, Stalker's just kind of checking the main as well. Sorry, like testing the waters here at the natural. TriGGeR is going for a Robo follow-up, pumping out Immortals. Again, Immortal, Void Ray, Blink Stalkers, I mean regular Stalkers. Like, this is great defensively. He's even got a shield battery in his main base in case we see a Blink into the main. He's terrified. But something is wrong. He should realize that something is missing here. And I'm sure like his brain is going haywire trying to figure out what's happening. Meanwhile, look at the worker counts. Rhizer has 41 probes, to the 27 of TriGGeR. Even though both players are on equal bases, because TriGGeR believes the all-in is coming, like, Rhizer took full advantage of that. Now, this is the big problem though. Starduck has done this push many times. Stalkers with Immortals and Void Rays, this is a pretty scary army. This like packs a massive punch. So now that he was forced to build this army, and now that he's using it, Rhizer may be regretting some things. Because what does Rhizer have at home? Literally nothing. He has Stalkers across the map, so we could see a forced base trade. But of course recall is always an option for either player. So we'll see how this goes. Honestly, if Rhizer recalls, I don't think he can fight this. Immortals and Void Rays, like, there's no way. Let's go. Base trade. He recalls immediately! Is this the right move? Overcharge is popped. It's wasted. Everything gets depowered. And Rhizer's just buying time. He's playing with TriGGeR. Like, TriGGeR, I was hoping at least would deny the natural and... But he recalls because he believes that this is the second base. That's just what he believes. Oh no. Well then. just crazy. Just absolutely crazy. We see the Void Ray, it's going across the map, and I mean this Void Ray is gonna stumble upon the base. The Void Ray is gonna like harass across the map. You can see where it's rallied, but he just runs into a Nexus. And now TriGGeR knows what's happening. Now he's like, fuck. He's like, I fell for it, mate. What have I done? What have you been doing? And now with Blink Stalkers, +1 on the way. Look at the sheer amount of Stalkers. 21 Stalkers. He blinks on top of the Immortal and on top of the Void Ray, mate. Rhizer has successfully bamboozled TriGGeR. We do have one more Immortal coming in from the back line, though. But, ay. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Blink is on the way for TriGGeR. He's trying to catch up. He's trying to make Immortals. He's still down when it comes to the workers, but he's working his way back up. Slowly closing that gap. Oh my god, another aggressive blink forward though again. Oh god, the Stalker count just is in favor of Rhizer. But he did expose himself with that aggressive blink forward. TriGGeR, he is able to hold on, but he's losing his advantages. His advantages earlier were Void Rays and Immortals, and he just keeps getting reset. Now we have a third base on the way, but Rhizer, mate, he already has a third. He's just one step ahead at every time, at every corner. Every step you make, every step you take. Meanwhile, +2 is on the way. TriGGeR doesn't even have a forge, so don't even think about +1, mate. TriGGeR is just stuck at 0-0. Meanwhile, TriGGeR, he needs to do something crazy, and he does harass across the map with a handful of these Stalkers, does get a couple of probes, and we'll get into the main base. At the same time, more Stalkers harassing the top left, so the harassment so far has been great, but now Rhizer, he is here. That Immortal is still exposed again! The target fire! It wasn't there, but now it is. Again, the Immortals just keep getting picked off. TriGGeR cannot get more than one. Ay. Solid force field. Another Immortal goes down. Rhizer. He was upset. He was angry. He was frustrated after the first series. TriGGeR just 2-0'd Rhizer in this very tournament. But now Rhizer has turned the tables. PvP just be like that sometimes. As a third base goes down, Cybercore gets picked off. No more Stalkers in production for TriGGeR whatsoever. Sure, he was harassing a little bit here across the map, but he's still down in workers. There's still just mass Stalker. Like, Rhizer is running away with this. Crazy. Meanwhile, I see you in the chat. Fernando, buenas noches. Good night. Good night. I hope you had a good day. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast as long as it was. I know you were there since the beginning. Or almost the beginning. As the Stalkers are pushing on forward. To be fair, pushing into this is still difficult. We have 3 shield batteries and an overcharge. So, like, I mean, you gotta respect the shield battery. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, +2 is gonna kick in. And when that happens, it's over, mate. It's done. It's done, so. I Here we go. We see another. It's as soon as TriGGeR comes out with the second immortal, he just loses one. Every single time. Every single time. Here we go. The immortal is going to go down once again. Overcharges pop, but it doesn't even matter. There's more than enough stalkers to one-shot. War Prism is on the way. With this War Prism, then we can see the warping in the face of TriGGeR. Rhizer can then reinforce on the map. Disruptors are coming out, and this could be a game changer. TriGGeR, he's trying to keep it hidden. He's trying to wait till the last moment. Oh, Nova comes out. Oh, but the blink away is there. One Nova is not enough. Meanwhile, we do see that blink on forward, and Disruptor goes down immediately. There's nothing left here. The shield batteries are doing what they can, but there's only so much they can do when Stalkers have enough overkill to just one-shot workers. One-shot Stalkers. And with that last Nova, I feel like we see another aggressive blink forward. There it is. Rhizer having his revenge here in the lower bracket over the Canadian Protoss player, showing off his fancy PvP. With the Scout of the Proxy, with the Ninja, GG gets called, and Rhizer takes the series 2-0. That was crazy. That was wild. You almost never see Ninja bases. Not anymore. But apparently, they're all over NA. GG, well played. Congratulations, Rhizer, as he does take down his opponent and move on to the grand finals to face the mighty Cham in a best of 5. But before we get there, I also want to commend TriGGeR. I think he did a really good job overall this tournament. I think he had a good showing versus Cham. I think he made one too many mistakes in game 2. I say too many mistakes. He was lacking crucial information in game 2 against Cham, and there's a very real world where TriGGeR would have 2-0'd Cham and moved on to the grand finals. If you recall, that was the game where Cham was cutting so many corners and going straight into a Greater Spire and Broodlords. TriGGeR had his moment. Unfortunately, he missed it, and in this world, in this timeline, TriGGeR doesn't even make it to the grand finals, even from the lower bracket. Congratulations, Rhizer. Well deserved, especially in this PvP. We didn't get to cast his first PvP against TriGGeR in the upper bracket, but I'm sure he was able to learn from it. Not just learn, but also adapt. And we have seen Rhizer pop off and move on.